So we will be analyzing the poem The Garden by Andrew Marvell. From the title, we could tell that the subject matter itself is nature. Moving on to the stanzas. In our first stanza, we could tell that he has sort of a mocking tone. Towards men who get praised for said honorable deeds. And then in the fifth and sixth lines, we find that he has a sort of disapproval towards these men. Whether it be just flat out them not deserving this praise or through jealousy. We then find ourselves in a sort of loop where he talks about repose. Repose is the state of rest or tranquility. Which he seems to finally find in his garden. We get that context from I found thee here. Thee is a notion towards fair, quiet, and innocence. He had mistaken searching for these things in the wrong places. The wrong places mean society, where there's only man. We then go on to once again saying that our subject is nature. But it's only sacred on its own. Nature with nature, not nature with man. We can also conclude that he wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle of just city life. Now, towards this line, no white nor red was ever seen, so amorous as this lovely green. These colors are a basis of symbolism where white equals innocence, red equals lust, and green equals growth. Now under that, we see the line, little alas, they nowhere heed. Within this area, we can see that the author is offended. He's offended because of people's lack of respect towards nature. We then move on to the almost end of our fifth stanza, where he has a lot of loaded language about the garden. he makes it seem as if the garden is the best place on the world. As we go through the text, we don't get many metaphors or type of figurative languages, but in here we find that he compares the mind to that of an ocean. And the annihilating all that's made to green thought and green shade. This is a representation of basically taking earthly aspects and boasting more about thoughts of nature, rejecting earthly ideas and replacing them with ones of nature. Now, these next lines threw me for a loop because he suddenly talks about his soul. Now, with this is implied death. So, Marvel's soul, he compares it to that of a bird preparing for a long trip. This long trip is death. Now, we could add, there's an elaboration towards, this implied death where he doesn't want a mate and he just wants complete solitude. You see me? Okay. No life partner and just solitude. We will then skip on. We'll then skip to Fragrant Zodiac Run. This Fragrant Zodiac Run is like a sort of hint towards the Mayan ages where they use a sundial. The ending was very anticlimactic where it goes from an implied death to just wanting to spend all his time in the garden, much like the bees. Going back to the beginning, after looking and reading through this poem, we find that the main themes are man in the natural world, isolation, and ambition.